hate apologists. This is from chapter 13, verses 7 through 8. Will you speak falsely for God and speak deceitfully for him? Will you show partiality towards him? Will you plead the case for God? He wants God to speak for himself. He wants his case to be heard before God. This is from the same chapter, verse 3, verses 13 through 18. But I would speak to the Almighty, and I desire to argue my case with God. Let me have silence, and I will speak, and let come on me what may. I will take my flesh in my teeth and put my life in my hand. Now, I've seen other translations of this verse, and I've taken a look, and this makes most sense with what the book is saying. See, he will kill me. I have no hope, but I will defend my ways to his face. This will be my salvation, that the godless shall not come before him. Listen carefully to my words, and let my declaration be in your ears. I have indeed prepared my case. I know that I shall be vindicated. So Job will not abandon his personal principles regardless of what God is going to do because of it. He then goes on in chapter 14, says some interesting things. This is from verses 1 through 6 and verses 18 through 20. A mortal born of woman, few of days and full of trouble, comes up like a flower and withers, flees like a shadow and does not last. Do you fix your eyes on such a one? Do you bring me into judgment with you? Who can bring a clean thing out of an unclean? No one can. Since their days are determined, and the number of their months is known to you, and you have appointed the bounds that they cannot pass, look away from them and desist, that they may enjoy like laborers their days. Job does not understand why God cares so much about insignificant humans. And he gives an answer for why God does so in verses 18 through 20. But the mountain falls and crumbles away, and the rock is removed from its place. The waters wear away the stones, and the torrents wash away the soil of the earth. So you destroy the hope of mortals. You prevail forever against them, and they pass away. You change their countenance and send them away. So the reason why God so concerned about humans is he can't keep his fingers out of the pie. And Eliphaz responds a little interestingly. This is from chapter 15, verses 7 through 10. Are you the firstborn of the human race? Were you brought forth before the hills? Have you listened in the counsel of God? And do you limit wisdom to yourself? So rather than answering Job's question, he's attacking his character. What do you know that we do not know? What do you understand that is not clear to us? The gray-haired and the aged are on our side, those older than your father. So an appeal to tradition. And this is interesting also from verses 14 through 16. What are mortals that they can be clean? Are those born of woman that they can be righteous? God puts no trust even in his holy ones, and the heavens are not clean in his sight. How much less one who is abominable and corrupt, one who drinks iniquity like water. So, who's responsible for all of these things being so corrupt that God just can't stand it? And he also goes through the usual rigmarole of explaining how the wicked are punished, the wicked are punished, the wicked are punished. And he mentions why in verse 25. Because they stretched out their hands against God and bid defiance to the Almighty. So it's like God is just obligated. He's obligated to punish them. And he doesn't answer Job's question. Job goes on in chapter 17, verse 5, and says, Those who denounce friends for reward, the eyes of their children will fail. That's what he's saying his friends are doing. And Bildad in chapter 18 has this to say in response. This is in verse 4. You who tear yourself in your anger, shall the earth be forsaken because of you, or the rock be removed out of its place? Who the hell are you, Job? Job goes on in chapter 19. This is verses 4 through 6. And even if it is true that I have erred, my error remains with me. Not admitting any sin, though. If I indeed you magnify yourselves against me, and make my humiliation an argument against me, know then that God has put me in the wrong, and closed his net around me. I think that, again, speaks a little bit against the patience and faithfulness of Job that I've been hearing about. This is from verses 25 through 27 of the same chapter. I think this is also something that's mischaracterized. For I know that my Redeemer lives, and that at the last he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, then without my flesh I shall see God, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold and not another. My heart faints within me. Who is the Redeemer that Job is talking about? Not God. It's something that he mentions in chapter 16, verse 19. Even now, in fact, my witness is in heaven. He that vouches for me is on high. What's he referring to? I think that he's referring to his own personal integrity. Certainly not God, who's punished him for no reason. This is from chapter 20, verse 3. Zophar, again, has just wonderful things to say. I hear censure that insults me. Excuse me? This is also something I don't understand about Christians, religious believers, whoever, who feel that they have to get pissed off because somebody says something that maligns the character of their God. You think God can't handle it himself? Okay, this is from chapter 21, verses 4 through 9. Job responding to this. As for me, is my complaint addressed to mortals? Why should I not be impatient? Does God have something else to do? Look at me and be appalled, and lay your hand upon your mouth. When I think of it, I am dismayed, and shuddering seizes my flesh. Why do the wicked live on, reach old age, and grow mighty in power? Their children are established in their presence, and their offspring before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, and no rod of God is upon them. Job is saying that what these guys are talking about, this system of retribution, lots of times it just doesn't happen. This is from verses 22 through 26. Will any teach God knowledge, seeing that he judges those that are on high? One dies in full prosperity, being wholly at ease and secure, his loins full of milk and the marrow of his bones moist. Another dies in bitterness of soul, never having tasted of good. They lie down alike in the dust, and the worms cover them. So, in the end, everybody's going to the same place, and God just does whatever he wants.